Happy New Year to all TTA members. I'm Carlos Anwanter, the TTA President, and this is the first in what I plan to be a series of videos that will keep you informed of what TTA leadership is planning to help you advocate and fight for yourself and your peers every day. These videos will contain information about messaging, important happenings at the district level, and ways that you can get involved and make your voice heard, both at your site and at the district level. I hope you'll find this information helpful and valuable as we work together to build the school environment that allows us to serve our students effectively. Before I get into the specifics of this video, I want to share a basic framework that TTA has adopted to describe our goals. The imagery is quite obviously a direct appropriation of Portrait of a Graduate. That was intentional. But it also serves as a useful summary of the concept of relational trust, which TTA sees as the necessary foundation of a strong, vibrant, collaborative environment in our schools. It is our goal to foster the concepts of relational trust throughout TUSD, especially in our relationships with site and district administrators, to create an environment where each of us is trusted, valued, and respected. This goal includes not just TTA, but all our labor partners who work directly with us and for students every day. Solidarity and unity of purpose with our colleagues in SEIU and both chapters of CSEA is vital to our mission. The concept of relational trust is based on 5 key characteristics: openness, benevolence, honesty, reliability, and competence. Each of these has a specific application for us in our daily interactions in our workplace. For this video, I'm going to focus on benevolence. In the context of relational trust, benevolence is about recognizing and respecting every individual's role and their unique contribution to the workplace. Providing a safe, supportive environment for our students requires a multitude of jobs, none of which can be effectively completed without mutual trust and respect for the roles we all play. This is why we equate benevolence with the concept of justice. All district employees deserve to be treated with dignity and respect in all aspects of their job. At its core, education is about relationships. In this context, benevolence requires all of us to prioritize the people we encounter, especially the students, over the programs being implemented. Without the people who work in and directly support the classroom every day, programs are useless. While benevolence can be demonstrated in many ways, the most public and obvious application is how spending is prioritized. There are 2 aspects of financial benevolence. First, people must be prioritized over programs. The budget is a reflection of the district's values. Benevolence requires that employees be compensated fairly and competitively first, and then programs can be adopted and implemented as funding is available. Second, salary structures must be equitable, reflecting the vital contribution of every employee. When one group or individual is prioritized or valued above the others, it violates the core principles of benevolence, best summarized in the phrase, "We all rise together." This chart, which will be available publicly, summarizes how all TUSD employees negotiate their salaries. In terms of benevolence, the most important thing to notice is the Me Too clauses in operation for most employees. A Me Too clause means that raises for the covered group are tied to another group's negotiations. In the case of TUSD, the Me Too clauses are tied to TTA's negotiated raises, in part because we are the largest bargaining unit in the district. The Me Too clauses allow all parties to have a clear understanding of the financial situation during the negotiations process, and they help maintain equitable salary distribution. No one group receives favored treatment. Each group has flexibility within the Me Too provision. For example, any group with a Me Too clause can negotiate a higher raise if they so choose. But the Me Too provision generally keeps the negotiations process more efficient and predictable, at least in regard to salaries. I want to provide a little more detail about how employees are represented in negotiations. Most employees are covered by one of the 4 bargaining units. TTA represents all non-supervisory certificated staff. This includes all credentialed employees except site and district administrators. CSEA 845 represents paraeducators and other service providers. CSEA 19 represents clerical staff and administrative assistants. SEIU represents all trade service providers, including bus drivers, electricians, and other specialists. These units represent the vast majority of district employees. The leadership of all four groups has developed a joint organization called the TUSD Labor Alliance, which meets regularly to coordinate and collaborate with each other. In December, TTA members ratified the tentative agreement giving us a 2.23% raise, a one-time $1,500 cash payout to help cover health insurance in the 25-26 school year, and an ongoing $2,000 increase to the district healthcare contribution beginning in July of 2026. These increases represent an increase in total compensation of 3.89%. Adding to the 1% increase retroactive to July of 2024 that was ratified last May brings total compensation increases over the last 2 years to 4.89%. By virtue of their Me Too clause, CSEA 19, CSEA 845, and SEIU 99 have the option to receive the same percentage increase. Any certificated employees who are in supervisory positions, site and district administrators, also have Me Too clauses. It's important to note that these groups do not have collective bargaining rights. They are all at-will employees that are not governed by a collective bargaining agreement. Both of these groups were scheduled to receive their Me Too raise at the December 8th school board meeting, but the agenda item was removed so that the school board could have further discussions. The superintendent is the only employee that has neither a Me Too clause nor collective bargaining rights. Dr. Stowe is an at-will employee, and he is the only district employee who negotiates his contract directly with the school board. Dr. Stowe's recent history of contract renegotiations has called into question TUSD's commitment to benevolence. While all other employees have received 4.89% in total compensation, the school board has already granted Dr. Stowe more than 6% in total compensation over the same time period, and was set to give him the Me Too raise at the December 8th board meeting before the agenda item was removed. That Me Too raise would have brought Dr. Stowe's total increase to 9.89%, more than double what all other employees have received. It's important to note that this is not a question of what Dr. Stowe deserves to be paid. When taken from the perspective of benevolence, the issue is inequity. Why is Dr. Stowe receiving preferential treatment in his negotiating process? Why was the school board considering giving Dr. Stowe a Me Too raise that he is not contractually entitled to? Why is the school board allowing this to happen in the midst of a healthcare crisis for TUSD employees? Since December of 2024, Dr. Stowe has received 3 salary increases. The first was a contract renegotiation that reduced his work year by 1 day without a compensatory reduction in base salary and afforded him the opportunity to work an extra 10 days without restriction at a rate of about $1,500 per day or up to $15,000 a year. In addition, the new contract allows him to work unlimited days beyond that at the same rate with only the permission of the sitting school board president. The second raise Dr. Stowe received was the 1% Me Too he received when TTA ratified our 1% raise in May. This raise was retroactive to July of 2024, therefore it was granted to Dr. Stowe as part of his previous contract. Finally, Dr. Stowe received a 5% raise effective July 1st, 2025. This raise is effectively concurrent with the 2.23% salary increase that TTA just ratified, meaning that Dr. Stowe has already received more than double our salary increase for the 25-26 school year. Yet the school board was prepared to grant him an additional raise to which he is not contractually entitled. While this raise was temporarily delayed when the agenda item was removed in December, it was made clear that it is still being considered by the school board and may be approved as soon as January 20th. Through their actions regarding salary, especially concerning Dr. Stowe, the school board has made it clear that paying Dr. Stowe as much as possible is more important to them than ensuring that all employees are valued for their work and professionalism. Simply put, this behavior is unjust. Justice, and therefore benevolence, requires that all employees are compensated fairly and competitively. To prioritize one employee, regardless of their status in the hierarchy, over all the others devalues the difficult and important work that we all do. Benevolence requires that TUSD prioritize fair and competitive compensation for all their employees, not just Dr. Stowe. Benevolence also requires that TUSD prioritize the people who work for our students every day over programs and systems of dubious educational value. Ensuring that TUSD will act with benevolence will require visible and consistent action on our part. Every member must take part in letting TUSD know that we deserve to be valued, trusted, and respected, and that this means we deserve to be compensated competitively. You can start by emailing the school board to let them know how you think. In addition, you can join us regularly in showing our unity and solidarity in two important and powerful ways. First, every Thursday is Unity Thursday. This is an opportunity for us to send a powerful visual signal that we stand together and that we are united in our purpose. It is also an opportunity to connect with our labor siblings in CSEA and SEIU. We can gather together before or after school, take a picture, and share our message on social media. Second, all 4 labor unions will be hosting a solidarity tailgate in the pit parking lot before every school board meeting for the rest of the year. Join us at 6:15 before every meeting. Bring food for yourself or to share with others, and meet with colleagues and partners. We will attend the board meeting together. Anyone who wants to speak to the board can tell their story, and we can all stand together with our colleagues. The first Solidarity Tailgate will be on Tuesday, January 20th. I look forward to standing with all of you as we continue to fight for the workplace we all deserve. I'll see you at the tailgate.